Hello and welcome to another Do As We Do Live. I am that Kimberly, also as my mom would call me, Kimberly Scott. And I am here today giving you all an update on all things Do As We Do, the nonprofit, as well as what Do As We Do does, the latest campaign, and a aha moment of the caregiving journey that I'm blessed to be on, and just kind of wanted to share a few things as it relates to my mom's and I's caregiving journey, or my caregiving journey with my mom, I should say. So thank you very much. Jill will be back with me probably next week, or she might even be on by herself talking about breathing, but this week she's still in the process of moving. So shout out to Jill. Thank you, folks, for anyone who joins us today. And if you have a question, you know someone who needs assistance, please send them to DoAsWeDo.org to apply. If you would like to donate to our latest campaign, we would love that. I'm just trying to show you where to go to do that. So give me 2 seconds so I can give you something that's visually awesome. Well, a little bit better, but anyways, if you go to fundly.com, haircuts helping unpaid family caregivers, or you can just go to DoAsWeDo's link tree, which I will, oh, it's right here. There we go. That's easy. If you go here to DoAsWeDo's link tree, you can donate to our latest campaign. Thank you to everybody that has already donated. I feel very blessed and privileged that we have even been able to raise $400, $480 this campaign. And that would mean that we could probably, with the other money that we have raised, we'll be able, we were hoping to give more than 400 per caregiver this year, but if that's it, that's okay. They're happy. I'd like to give 500, but that's all right. But the more we on average give to each caregiver, last year we gave to about 20 caregivers, and we gave them $400 each to go do whatever they wanted with. And just a little bit on the backstory, now that we've gotten to that point, let me take this down. Isn't that a lovely, hold please. Just to kind of give you a little update on Do As We Do and what kind of, we are a nonprofit. We are a legitimate nonprofit. It's a not for profit. We are a 501c3, folks. And we kicked off in 2020, March of 2020, after I started 10 years prior. I started my caregiving journey with my mom when she was, I think it was 64-ish, but it was definitely in late 2012. And I come from a family of caregivers. This kind of just gives you the image. My mom cared for both my grandfather and my grandmother. My dad cared for his mother in her last years of her life. So I definitely was around lots of caregivers. It's definitely something that we were, that they showed us how to be and to do. Because they definitely didn't tell us. It was definitely a showing. So when my mom was diagnosed, I started digging in and really figuring out that there's this huge problem that not very many people, if at all, that are talking. And that's about, what if you live and you don't die, but you can't no longer take care of yourself? And that could happen in a heartbeat. That could happen if you have a stroke. You could get dementia or not be able to walk. You could be an alcoholic and it just hits overnight, because people don't realize that it's happening more and more, and nobody's really talking about it. And if you haven't had and let me back up, and it's happening more and more because of the fact that Since 2011, every single day, 10,000 people are turning 65. When I really dug in, I started seeing that 25% of those family caregivers that are, either going unpaid or very little compensation, if at all any. And those who are in the Medicaid, Medicare role understand what I'm talking about. But the majority of them are women and millennials. On top of, according to Google, 10 million caregivers age 50 plus who care for their parents lose an estimated 3 trillion in wages, pensions, retirement funds, benefits. Total cost is higher for women in general than it is men, but that's because the family member is covering whatever the loved one can't, whatever their benefits don't cover. And we're not talking about that. We need to be talking about that. So DoAsWeDo is on a mission to not just help those caregivers financially, but also we are on a mission to educate and provide resources, provide a community around these family caregivers. So whether they're brand new or they've been on this journey for a while or a short time, wherever they are in their caregiving journey, we want these caregivers to be able to thrive. That is our goal, that these caregivers are thriving. Because when I kicked off this journey, I realized or found out that there is a term in this world, world of caregiving, that caregiving can kill the caregiver. And that's because of all the stress and anxiety and depression and things that occur when you're caring for your loved one, because you're literally thrust into making decisions that you weren't typically ready to or ever even thought you were going to have to make, right? And there's not an information out there. I mean, it's accessible, but it's so jargon, so jumbled, and there's so much to sift through that you just kind of don't even know where to begin. On top of the fact that that every single caregiving journey is different, 100% different. So that's why DoAsWeDo was started. We are a team of volunteers. Currently, we raise money all that money goes back to the caregivers. Our future plans are to raise money for the organization to have operations up and running, to have a center where folks can come and get treatment. They can have their loved ones looked out after they get this treatment. But overall, it's a place where caregivers can come and thrive, and also a learning place. So, but right now we're just focused on giving to those caregivers that need the little help that, in these times. So, we're super excited that as of today, our haircut campaign is the only one we did this year. And but we will still hopefully be able to give out anywhere from $400 to $500 per caregiver that applies for self-care, for whatever they want to take it and go do with it. And so whoever has donated, whoever donates in the future, just thank you in advance, because it is something that is absolutely needed. So with that said, I also wanted to update everybody on this. I know that we've been on here the past couple weeks, talking about brain SPECT imaging, reversing Alzheimer's, and those different topics. But last month, let me take that back. Almost, I would say, a year ago, I discovered a gentleman, and this is not a plug, like he's not paying me. This is not, I'm not trying to give medical advice to anybody. I'm going to throw up this disclaimer, everyone, so that I'm not held there's no liability, but this is not medical advice. I just want to share our journey so people have more resource, more education around like anything that they could be considering, because I wish I would have discovered or knew about SPECT scans of the brain 10 years ago or whenever in 2012 when my mom was diagnosed, because I would immediately have gone to go get her brain scanned, which I did not. I just took her general practitioner's, advice or medical advice, whatever, and just put her on this medication. And I wish I would have never put her on that medication. I wish I would have just gone to go see if she might have been stressed out and having some cognitive issues, instead of just slapping her with a early onset dementia diagnosis. But I didn't, and I can't take that back. But what I did do is start monitoring her medications. Obviously, she's taking 10 plus medications. Two of them being memantine, if I say that right, and donepezil, which are both for dementia. And they say that it doesn't cure, well, nothing cures dementia, or Alzheimer's, I should say, but that they stabilize the memory, which I don't believe is true. After seeing how she's probably in the middle stage right now, where she doesn't really interact with people unless they interact with her, and she still kind of will talk out loud and kind of joke with somebody she doesn't know and make a funny, when she's in a good mood. But she doesn't if she doesn't know you, she's not going to go out of her way. She'll say hello. She might think that she knows you. And so she'll maybe ask, how do I know you? Things of that sort. But she's pretty quiet nowadays, other than us getting her to engage. So I have decided that after going to get my SPECT scan done, because I was concerned with there possibly being Alzheimer's within our family history. And I wanted to know, on top of the fact that I was put on emergency detention in June. Long story. We've covered it on here before. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I can link the video that we talked a little bit about it. In the next coming months, you'll see more around it. But I was put on emergency detention, which means they don't arrest you, but they do put you in a psych ward, psych ward. And that's where they slapped me with a bipolar diagnosis, NOS, which at 40 plus years old is very rare. They usually diagnose that at a very young age, or after a severe traumatic. And don't get me wrong, the confrontation with the police was definitely traumatic. It was a lot of drama that was occurring within the family. And I just lost it, right? So, but not enough to where they're going to slap me with some bipolar, and I have to take medication for the rest of my life for it. In this past year, that medication did not help my mood, did not help anything about me. And so it just felt off. So I wanted to know, and this SPECT scan was one of the many things that I dove into. So I got my brain scanned, and this is the outside of the brain. And what they did see is that I should have done the other one first, but let me go ahead, and here we go. We'll do this one first. So here is where they can tell that I am ADD, obviously, but that I don't have Alzheimer's, and I am not bipolar. The doctor said if there was anything related to being bipolar, it would have been shown up in this area of my brain. And that she just said that it was probably I had a really, really bad day. And so I got really lucky. I felt very lucky that the police officers, that I didn't get arrested, because I was lost in the system since it happened in El Paso, Texas. My sister-in-law and my best friend were the ones that were around when it occurred. And since they are not my parent, and my mother couldn't call and ask, and I'm not married, that they wouldn't release any information to either my best friend or my sister-in-law. So that's pretty scary to know that I was lost in the system for about 3 days. So I don't want that to happen to anyone else. So I'm sharing this on top of the fact that considering that now I know that it's not Alzheimer's and bipolar, I do have a minor brain injury. You can see here where the doctor circled these little areas here that show that they should be, because this is the healthy brain over here, someone's healthy brain, and this is where they can see the indentations that shouldn't be there, as well as over here on this side. So that tells them that I either had a because I played contact sports in school, or I was in a severe car accident and I did not go to the hospital, that I could have easily gotten a concussion and just kind of lived with it. But the doctor said that it can totally be reversed. And now they've given me an assessment of the 11 things that we should be watching out for. Out of those 11, I need to work on 6 of them. And so that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go down this journey with my mother and along with me. And I'm going to take her off of all her medications with the doctor's, monitoring, and just only add back what she absolutely needs, and then everything else be more holistic, supplemental, everything that's good for the brain and her body. She's already eaten. She's eating very healthy, and she gets her exercise. I'm very mindful of anything that's good for the brain that I'm taking, I give to her automatically. And I just want her to live as long as she humanly can, happy and healthy. And even if she doesn't have her memory, that's okay. We can make more memories. Her short-term memory makes us both laugh. And so I'm okay with that. But the medication she's on now, this like list is insane. And I know some of them she doesn't need to be taking anymore, like cholesterol medicine. Why is she taking cholesterol medicine when her cholesterol is the best it's ever been? I don't get it. And it's not because of the medicines, because I make sure that she exercises and she eats what she needs to be eating, and not bad stuff that's bad for not just our brain, but our bodies. So I wanted to share that with everyone, because you will start seeing more around, I'm going to be documenting this. I want to raise awareness for people to understand that just because you get hit with a diagnosis of dementia / Alzheimer's, that there are alternatives out there. You don't have to, it's not immediately you're going to die doom and gloom. There are things you can do, especially if it's early onset. I learned at the Amen clinics that you can reverse. They are reversing all kinds of brain trauma every day. I mean, that's what they do. And it is something that not a lot of people talk about, and I want to be talking about it. I want people to know that you can change your brain, like Dr. Daniel Amen says, that you can change your brain, you can and then you change your life. He has scanned over 800 plus brains. And so, so I'm going to go down this journey with my mom and share with you all. And if you have questions, I am absolutely happy to answer them. If you have a thought about something that you're doing or you want to share, please leave it in the comments. Very important that we share our journey, so that way we can make it easier for our children, for our friends' children, for our, nieces and nephews, for the next generation. I'm 40. I will be 49 this year. Yay. And I'm Generation X. I want millennials, also known as Gen Ys, the Gen Zs, and now they have the Generation Alpha. I want all those 3 different generations to have it easier than we did, because caregiving causes so much strife between any family. It causes stress on everyone, not just your loved one, but the caregiver, both. And I don't want that for anybody. So I'm going to be going down this journey. I'm going to be documenting, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So if you have any questions, please leave them. Again, the link is in our bio for all the information around where to apply, where to donate, where to follow us. We also have some free resources here on our, if you go to Linktree DoAsWeDo, there's some free resources around that I've created that I share there that you can download. I'll be coming out with an free activities guide for memory, for folks that need a little extra brain games, if you will, for their loved ones. So I want DoAsWeDo to be a place to share this information, to provide these resources, and have a community that of caregivers that are better informed. So I appreciate you all very much for joining us or joining me today. Again, like I said, Jill will be back next week, and until then, remember, sharing is caring, and it's not about if you live, but no, I'm sorry. Sam's gonna love that one. It's not about if you die, but it's about if you live. Do you have a plan, and does your loved one know what that plan is? And if they don't, you need to be talking about it, so that way they don't have to worry. They don't have to be put in the situation of making life-altering decisions that just punch you in the gut. You don't want that for anyone. So have a great weekend, and until next Friday, do as we do. # sharing is caring. Bye, y'all.